And now I want you to stand up if anyone has had the experience where somebody pops into your head and then they call you on the phone. Now I want everybody to look around. Okay, go ahead and sit down. Thank you very much. And that proves to everyone, especially people who think intuition is very bizarre, that, you know, everybody has it all the time. It's like a language. You know, you're learning Spanish or French, but this is a language that you used to know. And essentially, you're not learning it, you're remembering it. Because this is the language that we talk with before we come down here. It's also the language when we go back home. So this is something that you're simply remembering. And the thing that stops it, of course, there's two things that stop it. There's the doubt. This is doubt over here. This is the little guy that says when you get up in the morning that you're fat and that you don't know what you're doing and that, you know, you can't get up here and speak and all. You know, the guy, he goes that, you know, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, who do you think you are? You think you thought something, you think that, what's that person's feeling? How dare you think what another person's feeling? And you just, you know, I got to tap on that because that's all he does. And you know, does he ever shut up? You know, he's just always there doing it. And the other thing is you end up being very, and this is human, you end up being very egocentric. You're worried about you, how things are affecting you, what people are thinking about you. Well, as soon as you do that, you're cut off from intuition. So those two things are extremely difficult to get out of. The cool thing is that what do you do when you're with EFT and a client? You're concentrating on them. So the better you are at EFT with a client, the less the egocentricity comes in, because you're thinking about them. And this little guy, there's not enough room for him, because you're thinking about them. So the coolest thing is the best time to learn and practice intuition is when you're working on a client. Now, you're not taking anything away from them because it's for them. You know, it's for them. So I'll tell you in a minute how to be able to do that, but I want to tell you a couple stories. And when we were in Norway, there was a guy that came up here. When Linda teaches and I'm behind the camera, she forgets that I'm behind the camera. She answers a question, then she goes, I'm sure Karin has an answer to that too. Here I think I'm just hiding behind my camera. I have a microphone and I have the headsets and, okay, Linda. And so I help answer her questions. And so they know that I'm sort of involved. So one of the guys comes up to me and he says, why do I cry? Now, I thought, and I knew exactly what he meant. He didn't mean, why am I emotional? Why am I, you know, sensitive? Why do things touch me? He wants to know, why does he cry? And I'll tell you the story and I'll probably cry myself. There was a doctor in the audience, I mean a GP, a real doctor, and he there it goes, sorry. So the doctor gets up and he says, you know, I found EFT. And he says, I've been a doctor for 25, 30 years, and I go in and I give diagnosis and I try to help my patients, but now I have EFT. And I had a cancer girl, a girl who found out she had cancer, and she was crying in the waiting room. And I got to, oh yeah. So she came in, and I just walked up to her and held her hand as a doctor and started tapping on her. And she stopped crying. She was going, and she stopped crying. And when she walked out of my office and we finished the visit, she said she felt so much better and felt at ease. And he said, I did that. I did that using EFT. And in my 30 years of practice, I couldn't. He says, I love EFT. I'm going to tell everybody, and I'm going to continue to use it. A doctor, can we please do that? Can we please make every doctor do that? Could you imagine the difference we could make? And that's why you cry. You get so overwhelmed with the ability to use EFT and to use your intuition and the love that goes around, that your heart just opens and expands. I know that Paul Lynch says, he says, you know, this EFT stuff, now I cry all the time. Because you do. You're much more sensitive. And especially with EFT and using intuition, you really become the love that happens in the help, you know that you aren't alone. Yeah, that's, you know, and sometimes especially men who start tuning into this and start using intuition, and that's why the guy came up to me and said, why do I cry? It's like driving him crazy. It has to do with, you know, truth with a big T, and it has to do with not being alone, and you know, and like she said, most people try to do it through meditation. I'm telling you, that's hard. That guy is really strong. I mean, that's why we're tapping on him all the time, because he's just never shuts up. And I mean, fighting with him is the hardest thing to do. And when you're helping somebody else with EFT, he's not there. So that's why, like she said, sometimes it takes this strength, and you hear these stories all the time. I've tried meditation, all this stuff, and it's not working. And then finally I was driving in the car one day and, oh, my God, we are all one. You know, and it's